Hey y'all, we back with another episode of No Surrender Podcast. It's been a little minute since I did an episode. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I just been on other things, but you know, it's this episode. We basically gonna be going over the NBA playoffs and basically the 2025 free agents, the best free agents for this 2025 2026 NBA season, next season coming up. So it's a lot of guys in the free agency. But before we get on the free agency, man, we got to talk about these playoffs, man. We got to talk about these playoffs. We got to, because I know the teams that everybody wanted to go to the NBA finals, they ain't gonna go. They're not going. The Oklahoma City Thunder are in the finals. They beat the Grizzlies, they beat the Nuggets, and they beat the Timberwolves. They beat the Timberwolves really bad, like really, really bad. So we go through. So the Thunder, they beat the Grizzlies. They swept them. They even had a game where they beat the Grizzlies. I'm not mistaken. They had a game where they beat the Grizzlies by like 40. Let me go see. I'm only pulling up one game. Hold up. Yeah, chat. The Grizzlies. Okay, here we go. Game one. They beat the Grizzlies 131-80. They beat them by 51 points. 51 points. And to be honest, I felt like for some reason, I don't know why, but I believe Zach Edey could have been used better. They could have used Zach Edey more or better, to help them, because he averaged 2.5 blocks in the postseason. He was the league leader in the whole playoffs in blocks. So I felt like he could have been a good addition to play more. He played a good 20 to 25 minutes, but they weren't letting him play. He wasn't really playing for too long. But I guess they had to take him out because the Thunder they can get up and down the court. Not quite like the Pacers, but the Thunder can get up and down the court. They got a lot of young guys, so they got a lot of young guys that just run. And Zach Edey young too, but the NBA pace and college pace are two different pace. So he definitely, I could see why they made the adjustments, take him out the game, because he's slowing up the game. He probably got in foul trouble. Like, if we go look, I'm about to pull up these stats real quick so I can tell y'all. Let's see. The box score. Yeah, see, Zach Edey in the first game only played 20 minutes. He only played 20 minutes. He got 9 rebounds. He was a minus 38. Desmond Bane in that first game, that 50-point loss was a minus 51. I don't think I ever seen that. A minus 51. But it's crazy though, on the bench, Marvin Bagley, he came off the bench 8 for 8. And Marvin Bagley is another one that I think he's been getting injured a lot the past couple seasons, so he doesn't really play like that. But when he does play, he's a pretty good addition. He had 17, 5, and 3. That's a good addition. But you look at Oklahoma City, all they starters, the person who played the most minutes was Jalen Williams, and he only played 26 minutes. So you got to think about it. They're not even playing regular starter minutes. They basically just went out there and just got them out the way, got them done. Jalen Williams was a plus 44 in that game too, And this is pretty much how that series went, because the only games that were competitive was game 3 and game 4. But it was already over with by then. And then Ja got hurt, so that wasn't really gonna do much with Ja hurt. You're not really gonna beat them. You definitely ain't gonna beat them while you don't have Ja. I can say that now. I can tell you that now. You ain't beating them without Ja. And he went down. So that's pretty much how that series went. But if we go to the Nuggets and the Clippers. Now the Nuggets and the Clippers, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably that was a good series because it was a real competitive series. And Aaron Gordon, man, I think he hit 2 game winners that series. If I'm not mistaken, he hit 2 game winners. It was a pretty evenly matched series. Zubac, man, I can't believe the Lakers traded him. Because talk about you need a big man. He's a perfect big man the Lakers need. Not necessarily a lob threat, for Luka, but he's a defensive presence, and he can get rebounds. He can go out there and get you 20 rebounds, and he can get you 20 points. He's gotten way better. Look, first game 21-13 and 2. He's definitely gotten way better from last year. And to be honest, the Clippers were a very good team. I just feel like they need another big, another 5. If they can find another 5, then they could do more like a backup 5. If they can use a backup, they can get a backup 5, then they should be good. Cause they don't have anybody that can when Zubac comes out the game, it's pretty much it. They got Nicholas Batum, Derrick Jones Jr., Ben Simmons. Hey man, what's up with Ben Simmons, man? I ain't even gonna lie. Hold up. Side note, what's up with Ben Simmons, man? Ben Simmons, I ain't gonna lie. He came and got a check, but man, that nigga ain't trying to hoop for real, man. That nigga not trying to hoop for real, man. But it was supposed to be the next LeBron. He was the next LeBron. Chat, tell me if I'm wrong. He was supposed to be the next LeBron. That's how they were talking about it, chat. I'm telling you, let me know when I'm wrong. Because his first two seasons was really good. But after he played us, my Hawks, and then he passed that layup or that dunk that he could have had at the end of the game, ever since then, it was all downhill. Nobody believed in him after that. But yeah, Kawhi came back playing like an MVP. He came back playing just like an MVP. 22 points in the first game. And all these games are pretty much close. Hold up. Yeah, game 2, Kawhi Leonard, 15-19 from the field, 4-7 from 3. 39 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. That's the Kawhi Leonard that won the ring in San Antonio and in Toronto. That's the Kawhi Leonard you need. And when he playing like that, it's not too many people better than him at all. We got Ben Simmons again, 2 points. Man, this nigga here. This nigga got 2 points and 2 personal fouls. Bruh, come on, man. Come on, man. They passing this nigga around like, bro, they passing this nigga around on every team and it's crazy because he can do more. He just don't. I don't know why. I really don't know why. And James Harden played good around the beginning of the series, but once it got to the point where he needed to be James Harden, pretty much it kind of, he kind of ran into the ground by then. He wasn't really, he was getting assists, but he wasn't being the James Harden that we need. Goddamn camera. My bad, chat. I had to fix the camera. That motherfucker went the other way. My bad, chat. Yeah, Norman Powell. He should have been an All-Star this year. You know what I'm saying? He should have been an All-Star. That nigga LeBron he said, nah, fuck that. I gotta get this last All-Star selection, man. But yeah, Zubac had 16, 12, and 4. And that's another thing about Zubac. Zubac is a very good passer. Very good passer. Underrated passer. He had 4 assists. He can get you some dimes. The Clippers won that game 105 to 102. Jokic. And he did a decent job on Jokic. That you can, he did the best. He did better than a lot of people would. Jokic had this game, he had a triple-double, 26, 11, and 10. He had a pretty good game. He had 7 turnovers. So that's something you got to look at. He had 7 turnovers. So he played pretty decent on Jokic. And Russell Westbrook, another good addition to that team. Russ is another good addition to that team. He made them a lot better coming off the bench because they needed that. But they need somebody else to come off that bench. And I think Michael Porter Jr., man. Michael Porter Jr. need to tighten up. He probably might get traded, though. I'm not even going to lie. Yeah, pretty much, Game 3 was a blowout. Game 4 was close. The Nuggets won by 2 points. Game 5, kind of like a blowout. Nuggets won by 16. Game 6, the Clippers won by 6. So it was a pretty close, evenly matched series. Game 7, the Nuggets beat the Clippers 120-101. So that game, let me go back to that Game 7. Let's see what this. I remember that game. I watched that game. It was actually a really good game. Yeah, Kawhi had 22, 5 and 2. He could have played better, not gonna lie. James Harden only had 7 points. He had 13 assists with 7 points. He was a minus 29. Norman Powell only had 9 points. So yeah, they just didn't play good. You gotta play better. You definitely gotta play better. Zubac had 10 and 14. But we're not looking for Zubac to score 20. He can score 20. If he does score 20, then we're good. But he pretty much did his part to me. He had 14 rebounds, 2 assists, So he played decent. But the Clippers, yeah, they just need to tighten up their bench, get another big man on the bench. The Nuggets, yeah, see, he did a good job on Jokic. He only had 16, 10, and 8. Christian Brown, that's where a lot of teams mess up at. They forget that, okay, Aaron Gordon could score, so they lock up Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr. can score, so they'll lock up Michael Porter Jr. Right? Jamal Murray, same thing with him. But Christian Brown has spurts, and he has the potential to go out and score 20. Like this game 7, he had 20. He converts. He's a pretty efficient player. The Nuggets just don't have no bench. They just got Russell Westbrook. DeAndre Jordan is okay when you need him, but they pretty much don't have a bench. Their bench is pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. They got one of the worst benches in the league. I'm not even going to lie to y'all, chat. Not even going to lie to y'all. They got one of the worst benches. Yeah, then the Timberwolves, they beat the Lakers. I mean, y'all should have knew what was going to happen with this series. They had no 5. The Lakers were not going to beat the Timberwolves solely because they didn't have a 5. If the Lakers had a 5, somebody they can, like a big man. If they could have actually got Mark Williams, and if he passed his physical, I felt like that could have been a good team. That could have been a really good team. They need somebody like Mark Williams because he gets rebounds. He's a lob threat. He can score. He can pass. He can pass when he needs to pass. So that was just terrible. That was just terrible. The Lakers already knew what they was just hoping, trying to get lucky. They was just hoping, They trying to get lucky, you know what I'm saying, pass through that round, because once they pass through that round, they just don't want to see Denver. Because I feel like the Lakers can beat, excuse me, the Lakers can beat, I feel like the Lakers can beat the Thunder. But now looking at how the Thunder did the Timberwolves, I don't think the Lakers could have beat the Thunder. Could have beaten the Thunder. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just a LeBron fan. Yeah. They had Rudy Gobert out there looking like Shaq. This how you know the Lakers, they don't have no five. They didn't have nobody to guard the five. Rudy Gobert had 27 points and 24 rebounds. He had 9 offensive rebounds. 9. Think about that. 9? 9. That's probably more than the whole Lakers squad. Let me go see. That's more than the whole Lakers squad. The Lakers squad had 8 offensive rebounds. Rudy had 9. Rudy had 9 by himself. So, you know, Luka shot 15 free throws and made 12 of them. That's good. He had 28 points. See, the Lakers, all they need is a 5. If you could get the Lakers a good 5, I feel like they could go to the conference finals at least. At least. And they got to tighten that bench up. That bench is terrible. They signed Alex Len. That nigga went out there and did nothing. I swear to God. That nigga went out there and did nothing. Y'all signed this nigga for I'm finna go pull this nigga stats up. Hold up. Y'all ain't finna believe this nigga stats. I'm finna tell y'all this nigga stats. Versus Minnesota, this dude averaged 1.7 points, 1.3 rebounds, and 0.3 assists. This nigga gotta be ashamed of himself, like, for real, bro. Bro, I'm saying, you 7 foot tall. You should be able to pull down at least 5-6 rebounds. I don't see why these niggas don't be getting rebounds. If I'm 7 feet tall, I'm pulling down some rebounds. I'm boarding up, definitely. On everything I love, I'm getting some rebounds. I don't know what these niggas on the Lakers be doing. They got Jackson Hayes. This sorry ass, man, this nigga sorry. This nigga suck. Another sorry 7-footer. I ain't gonna lie. Probably cool dude, cool person, man, but this nigga suck. Either he suck, or they don't give him enough chances to play. Cause I see his field goal percentage is 72. Cause he is a lob threat, but he don't play. It's like his defensive efficiency is just terrible. The 2 games he played against Minnesota, he averaged 10 points and 5.5 rebounds. I mean, either he's sorry or he's just not getting enough chances. That's the only 2 things I can think of. Either he sucked or he's just not getting enough shots. I think he sucked. That's what I think. You know, Trey Jemison, Christian Coloco, these are just niggas. These are just niggas. Like, these are just niggas that fill the bench up. These are the niggas you used to foul Shaq back in the day. These are the niggas that you use to foul Shaq. When you trying to get Shaq, trying to stop Shaq or contain Shaq back when he was in his prime, these are the niggas that you put on him. Shame, man, got LeBron out there. That man bought 41. Yeah, then the Warriors beat the Rockets. But you could tell the Warriors gonna beat the Rockets. They was way too inexperienced. Amen Thompson's the real deal. Next season, but his brother's good too. Asar is very good too. He gonna. I feel like his next season is gonna be like Amen's season. This season right here. This season is gonna be like his next. Asar's next season is gonna be like a men's season this year. I feel like he's gonna get a bigger spot on Detroit. Yeah. Then the Thunder beat the Nuggets. That was crazy because Jokic had that big first game, and after that, they pretty much stopped that. They pretty much nipped that in the bud. It went to 7 games. I really thought Jokic was gonna get that. I really thought Jokic was gonna, I'm Jokic, nigga. But SGA, man. Timberwolves was gonna beat the Warriors because the Warriors got a similar problem that the Lakers got, except they could play better, and Steph Curry wasn't playing, so they caught them while they were down bad. So Steph Curry wasn't playing, so they wasn't gonna win regardless. Then we go over to the East. The Cavaliers beat the Heat. They beat them the game they swept them. They beat them 138-83. Man, the Hawks would have been better in that position. I ain't gonna lie. We would have did way better than the Heat. We would have won at least one. I ain't gonna lie to you. We would have won at least one game. Tell me I'm lying, chat. We would have won at least one game. Then the Pacers beat the Bucks. That was gonna happen. You didn't have Dame. You essentially Giannis is going 1-on-5 pretty much. So you're not gonna win that series. The Pacers, they got too many decent players that they can get a ball to, and for them to score. So they got way too many players, and that was not gonna work. Gary Trent Jr. did step up and help Giannis, but he committed some real costly turnovers towards the end of them games, and it made them lose. So Indiana won 4-1. New York, they faced the Pistons in the first round. Underrated. I think that was probably the best series of the playoffs so far. The Knicks and the Pistons. I loved that series. It was real physical. It was back and forth. But the Knicks was gonna pull that out. They just got more experience. They're a little bit better. But Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Malik Beasley, they're a really good team. So next season, I expect them to be mid 40s to possibly low 50s in wins if they tighten up. Then the Celtics beat the Magic. That was gonna happen. I mean, they don't even have Jalen Suggs, so that was gonna beat them. Then the second round, the Knicks beat the Celtics, which was a real shocker. It was kind of a shocker to me, only because I felt like the Celtics could still beat the Knicks. Even though they shooting bad, because they shoot so many shots. They shoot so many shots, they can still beat them while playing bad. They was up 20 like 3 or 4 games in this series, and they blew the leads because they kept missing the shots. But then when Jason Tatum went down with that Achilles injury, it was over with. You're not going to beat them. You probably might be able to steal one game from them, but you're not going to beat them 2-3 more times. So that was pretty much done once Jason Tatum went down. And hopefully he doesn't have to take too long to recover. But it's going to be at least a year, maybe a year and a half. So, hope he just comes back stronger and better. That's the only thing they can hope, for Boston fans. And then the Pacers, that was a shocking series, too, how they did the Cavaliers. They did the Cavaliers really dirty. They beat them really bad. I remember one of them games, they was losing by 50 at the half, I believe. Hold up. Which game was it? Let me see. Bear with me, chat. Was it this game? Yeah, definitely this game. Yeah, that was getting this game at the half. That was getting beat 70-39 at the half. Man, I'd be so mad. 70-39 at the half. And I like how the Pacers play because they got enough guys to where if somebody or one or two players not playing right in the starting lineup, they can switch them out. TJ McConnell, elbow jumper, mid range. It's going in. Obi Toppin in the crew. Yeah. And right now, in the conference finals, the Pacers are playing the Knicks right now. And the Knicks are up 14. You know, and the Knicks, I got a strong feeling the Knicks are going to win this game only because, I mean, they got to win this game. Like, they got to. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. They have to win this game. But game 6 is going to be tough. Game 6 is going to be really tough because you got to go back to Indiana. Game 6 is going to be really tough. And it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot for them to be able to get out of there game 6. But I feel like if the Knicks come back for a game 7, I feel like the Knicks might win that game 7. I feel like Jalen Brunson is gonna play at a high level to the point where like he might score 40. I think he might drop 40 that game. You know, but going against the Thunder, they're not gonna win. They're not gonna win against the Thunder. We can just get that out of there. Get that out the way right now. The Pacers got a better chance of beating the Thunder because they got way more players that they can put in the game that can score and they can get down the court, up and down the court fast. The Knicks only play about 7-8 guys, and Tom Thibodeau is just now starting to incorporate bench players, and it's the conference finals. Like this is crazy. So that's going to be hard to go against OKC because they got a team full of defenders. They rank number 1 in defense for almost every single category. So it's going to be pretty hard to try to beat them and you running your starters into the ground. So you running your starters into the ground, more than likely, going against a team that's number 1 in defense and you're not giving your starters a rest at all. And then they got the MVP on the team. That don't sound too good. That doesn't sound too good for the Knicks. But let me just say this: if the Knicks somehow make it to the finals and somehow win the finals, niggas gonna have to go and check on New York because it's gonna be crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. All nervous people need to get out of New York by the time if they win. Because if they win, it's bad. It's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be good, but it's gonna be bad. They gonna, New York ain't won nothing since down in the Cold War or something. No, that's the 50s. Hold up, they ain't. It's been a long time since they won something. Just think about it. It's been a real long time since they won something. Yeah, TJ McConnell is playing real good right now. 5 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. See. Every time Tyrese Halliburton he's not playing too good, but he haven't really shot too many shots. He only shot 2 shots, and then like I said, it's only about to be halftime, so you already know how the Pacers like to do. This score is gonna jump up. Cat got 15. Yes, that's what you got to do if you want to win this series. Cat has to go off. Cat and Jalen Brunson, no matter what, they gotta go off. Jalen Brunson got 14 and Cat has 15. So they got to do this. They have to. And I think it was kind of a smart idea to put Mitchell Robinson in the starting lineup just to add extra defense. I think that was a smart idea. Because, get them extra rebounding chances. Mikal Bridges hasn't been playing that good over the last couple games. So, these guys start missing shots. You need somebody to get them offensive rebounds. So, and then get defensive rebounds again, to help, get them more possession. So it's looking pretty decent, but I'm thinking the Knicks gonna win this series. But after that, if the Knicks win this game and then they can win game 6 somehow, I think they're gonna win the series. But after you win the series and you go face the Thunder, that might be over in 4 games. I'm not even going to lie. That might be over in 4 games. Okay. Now, let's move on to the free agency part of the video. Because this free agency has a lot of good players that about to hit the market. You know, Jimmy Butler, you know what I'm saying, LeBron. But more than likely LeBron, you know, LeBron going to stay with the team. And, you know, Kyrie, he's more than likely going to stay with his team, you know. The Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets is the only team I think that will have max level cap. Only the Brooklyn Nets. No other team has max level cap. But they probably not even going to, nobody's going to come to Brooklyn. I don't think nobody want to go play in Brooklyn. Yeah. LeBron, he's going to take that option. He got a $50 million player option. He's going to sign that. James Harden got another player. He got a player option. James Harden is more than likely going to stay with the Clippers because, you know, that's what he's been trying to get to, and I think that's probably the best fit for him. Kyrie is more than likely going to stay in Dallas, you know, nurse them injuries. I think Dallas is a pretty decent team. Everybody was mad. All the Dallas fans are mad, but you really think about it, Dallas got a decent team, and they just got Cooper Flag. So I think they can do pretty good. The West next season is going to be tough. It's going to be tough next season, man. It's going to be tough. Julius Randle. That's another thing with Julius Randle. I don't know if he'd stay. For some reason, him on the Timberwolves is not really a good fit to me. I don't think Julius Randle fit on the Timberwolves that good. I think Julius Randle fit better like on a team like the Heat. He felt like he'd do good on the Heat. The Heat or like the Rockets or something, but they won't be able to sign Julius Randle. But those are just teams that he, you know, I could see him playing for, like the Rockets or like the Trailblazers. I could see him playing for the Trailblazers. You got Fred VanVleet. I can see Fred VanVleet staying in Houston. Because the Houston's a really good team, man. Him at the point guard. I feel like he should, you know, become more of a facilitator. If he becomes more of a facilitator, that team, I feel like that team could, you know, potentially be one of the teams that make it to the conference finals. But he got to facilitate a lot better. Well, I would say a lot better. I say a lot more. You know, his assists, you got to bring them assists up to probably about 8 assists a game. I think he's probably like around 5 or 6. He probably have to get it to about 8.5. Then you got Miles Turner. He's an unrestricted free agent. I think Miles Turner is going to stay in Indiana. But if somebody come with that money, best believe he going to move. If Brooklyn say, man, we'll give you 4 years, $170 million, he's going to leave. Cause somehow these guys' salaries, they just be blowing up. One guy one year one contract he making $80 million, next contract he making $180 million. It just goes up. But I really think he stays with the Pacers. I could see, yeah, they saying he could possibly a sign and trade to the Warriors and the Lakers, to the Warriors or the Lakers. That's a good fit. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good fit for the Lakers. It's a good fit for the Warriors too, but I think it's a really good fit for the Lakers. But that'll be very hard for them to try to wiggle that deal around because there's a lot of pieces you probably might have to move to make that work. But that sounds like a decent It sounds like a decent trade, but it's gonna be hell to try to get that deal through. Josh Giddey, he's a restricted free agent, you know, and that's another thing. Josh Giddey, I don't think they're gonna trade. They don't want him to go. So they're gonna give Josh Giddey that money because Josh Giddey this year he averaged 21.2 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 9.3 assists a game. He averaged damn near a triple double, 38% on threes. You know, so he's playing pretty good. Oklahoma City, they had to get up off of him. You know, you got Shea, so and they got better. They got better after they traded him. So that's the crazy part about it. They got better. So if you get better by trading a dude that now he averaged almost a triple double, that's crazy. Oh, actually, he's shooting 46% on threes. Yeah. Following All-Star break. Yeah, following All-Star break, he averaged 21, 10, and 9, shooting 50% from the field and 46% on three. Yeah, so he done earned him a really good contract. Quentin Grimes is another guy who earned him some money because after everybody went out on the 76ers, Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Jerry McCain, after all them went out, he came in averaging over 20. 4.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and Philadelphia still went up in the draft lottery. So Quentin Grimes is another good one, but he's a restricted free agent. So other teams can send him a deal, but his team has the option to match it. So that's one thing. He could go to the Nets. That's what they say. He could go to the Nets. I could see the Nets going for him because they really don't have anybody but Cam Thomas. That's pretty much it. So him going to the Nets is actually a decent place for him to land. The Hornets, I don't see him. I can't see him on the Hornets. They got LaMelo, and then they got Brandon Miller. I don't really see that happening. Got Jonathan Kuminga, another restricted free agent. Yeah, he gotta go. He needs more. He needs the ball in his hands more. And I feel like he could be one of them guys, one of them 22, 23 point a night scorers. But you ain't gonna be there on the Warriors because they got a system because they used to winning. They won 4 rings, so you're not gonna be able to just go into that system and just do whatever you want. So he's definitely gonna get traded. Brooklyn is another place. Brooklyn looking for people. The Bulls, they saying, I see the Bulls could put together a sign and trade Nikola Vucevic. It's actually a decent deal because think about it. The Warriors get a 5. The Bulls get a. I think he should play the 3, but he plays the 4. The Bulls get a 4. Now the Bulls have Andre Drummond and they can sign another 5, but they're in the rebuilding stage right now, so. That's pretty much a good deal because you can build around Jonathan Kuminga. There you got guys like Brook Lopez. He an unrestricted free agent, and he another one of them sorry 7-foot niggas that don't get rebounds. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. This man like 7'1", probably taller than that. Man don't get no rebounds. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The Pelicans, they saying he might go to the Pelicans. The Pelicans is going to be a terrible team for a little minute. And Zion don't want to be there. It's pretty obvious he don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Paul is an unrestricted free agent. He can go wherever he want. But I think Chris Paul should stay with it. I think Chris Paul in San Antonio, I think he should stay in San Antonio. Because if somehow they get Giannis to come there, they gonna win. Al Horford is an unrestricted free agent, but I highly doubt he's gonna lead the Celtics. But he may lead the Celtics because Jason Tatum's hurt and he's gonna be gone for about at least a year, probably a year and a half. So he might say, "Yep, and just forget it and just leave." They already won a ring, so it won't be like he hasn't won anything. So more than likely, he might leave, but he might stay. I can see him staying. Ty Jerome is another player that broke out this year. Ty Jerome is an unrestricted free agent. Yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent. They could see him going to Orlando. That's a good team for him. Orlando. He need to come to Atlanta. Yeah, back up. Him and Caris LeVert coming off the bench. Guaranteed buckets off the bench. Malik Beasley is another unrestricted free agent. Man, the Pistons got to keep him. If the Pistons don't keep him, Lakers get him. Lakers get him. He got a gun on him. He a shooter. Somehow Lakers, you got to get him. Naz Reid, he has a player option. Naz Reid more than likely is going to stay. Caris LeVert, we got to keep Caris LeVert. This man was excellent. He can score. He don't need that much time to score. We definitely should keep him. Gary Trent Jr. is going to move. I can see him playing for like the Heat or something. But they probably ain't going to give him that many minutes for some reason. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Man, that's Shea Cousin, man. That nigga elbowed that nigga in the neck, man, for a ring, man. Y'all gotta go look at the video and highlights, man. That nigga elbowed that nigga, pulled up in the neck. Dennis Schroeder. Detroit gotta keep Dennis Schroeder. But at the same time, Jaden Ivey is gonna come back. So Dennis Schroeder, I feel like everywhere he go, he plays decent. Only place he didn't play that good was it with the Lakers, but he did win the ring. So I could see Dennis Schroeder. What team could he? What team? The Knicks. Knicks seem like a good team. The Knicks seem like a very good team. Yeah, man. This offseason is gonna be crazy, man. You got Giannis. Giannis is the top player in the free agency because wherever he goes, it's gonna change the entire landscape of the NBA. You know, if he stays on the East, it won't be too crazy, but depending on what team he goes to. But if he goes to the West, that's crazy. If he actually can make it to San Antonio, with the Spurs, man, I don't see the people beating them. They got Wemby and Giannis. Wemby plus Giannis. Nobody's gonna score. Think about it. Blocks, man, they're probably gonna average about together. They probably gonna average about 10 blocks a game together. Wemby probably might average like about 6, because he can get up there. He can block shots. He can block shots whenever he want, whenever he needs to. He can block shots. Giannis can block shots. Giannis can score 30 plus a night. Wemby can score plus 20 a night. You know, they both double-digit rebounders. They both can pass. So that's gonna be a very tough team to beat. And I don't really see many teams beating them. I don't really see no teams beating them. You really think about it. Only, you know, on the defensive side, that defense, man, that defense is crazy. You know, that's gonna be a real tough team to beat. You know, and then Wemby went down early this year with the blood clot. He would have won Defensive Player of the Year if he didn't go down. He would have won Defensive Player of the Year. San Antonio Spurs would have been in the playoffs. They was 34-48, but with Wemby in the lineup, that win-loss record was probably going to be flipped over. It would have been 48-34. You know, but I could see them jumping from that from 34 and 48 all the way up to 50 wins. If they add Giannis, I can see that team winning 60 games. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's a 60-game win team, like 60 games a season wins. I can see them winning 60 games, 60+ games. The Boston Celtics are gonna drop. They're probably gonna be a good 48 and 34 or 44 and 38 team. They're gonna drop. I think the Lakers are gonna be around the same spot, 50 and 32, maybe 52 and 30. Depending on what they can add to the team, because the Western Conference is crazy. The Western Conference is insane because the top 10 teams, really 11 if you really want to be sure, really want to be for real, and without injuries, San Antonio is another team. So really 12 teams are good enough to make it to the conference finals. So that's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. But I feel like this year, if the Knicks make it to the finals, the Thunder are definitely going to beat them. If the Pacers make it to the finals, they got a better chance of beating the Thunder. And if I'm going to be honest, who I would want to win, I kind of like the Pacers better than the Thunder. I'm not even going to lie. SGA, MVP, going crazy every night. But I kind of like the Pacers. I like the Pacers a little bit more. I'm more of a fan of their team. And the Pacers, and like I said, it's halftime. It looks like the Knicks are only up 10, 11 points, it looked like. Let me see. Yeah, the Knicks up 11 is halftime. So look, they catching up. They creeping back up on you. Pascal Siakam not shooting too good, but it's the first half. Towns, he got a double already, 17 and 10. So you got to see how this goes. Now they can keep this score. They can keep the score at a decent range. The Knicks can survive this game, but Game 6 is gonna be a motherfucker. Game 6 gonna be something serious. I ain't even gonna lie. They gonna have to pull somebody head to win Game 6. I'm not even gonna lie to you, chat, like for real. But I got faith in them. Jalen Brunson and Cat, I got faith in them. I believe that they can win. It's gonna be a tough series, but I believe they can pull it off. But yeah, man, that's gonna conclude this episode of the the No Surrender podcast. This edition, man, this little free agency / playoff summary edition. I will have another episode up very soon for y'all again. It's been a little minute, but I'm going ahead and get back up on it, man. Everybody that support me, everybody that's watching, that's all love, man. We gonna build this thing from the ground up, man. Everybody who's supporting from day one, I see you. You feel me? Yeah. We out.